Thank you all so much for being here to celebrate the raising of the prize. Special thanks to the Office of OEI who planned this event for us. And special thanks to our community who helped support us when planning this event, those of us who will be here speaking, and those of us who helped us get these beautiful decorations to make this event even better. So thank you so much. First this morning, we'll be hearing from Mary Owishi, our Poet Laureate. Thank you, Mary.
What a beautiful audience. Thank you. I was told I can make a few remarks. So my remarks are that my friend Michelle says, it's not where you're born, it's where you choose to die. So I think of that kind of puts me in mind of a very brief tale of two cities. The city I was born in the 1980s, permitted a hate group to march down the street. They gave them a parade permit. They paid hundreds of police officers overtime on the weekend to stand side by side with their shields overlapping to protect them from thousands of city residents who stood at the side and chanted, "Shame, shame, shame," the whole way down. But they would not give a pride parade permit until recently, a couple years ago. And in fact, in 2008, they finally allowed them to have a pride event in a park. Not a parade, just a pride event. So I am very proud to call Albuquerque my home, because this city this city welcomes me and welcomes all of us, no matter how we were born, where we were born, in what ethnicity we were born, and it's just a glorious thing to be from Albuquerque. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so this is my poem for today, The Colors of Pride. R is for red, and for resistance and resilience, both with a centuries-long history here. The courage of those who came before us helps unfurl this flag today. O is for orange, and for open-minded, creating opportunity to outshine ostracizing, to outlast oppression, and ultimately to overcome. Y is for yellow, and for a great big yes to joy, to dancing in the streets, to celebration, the fuel that picks us up and keeps us going, no matter how long it takes to get there. G is for green, and for the gay community, which with grace and guts and get it done, has marched with pride down Central every June since 1978. B is for blue, and for beliefs that we hold dear in neighborhoods throughout the city. In this house, we believe Black Lives Matter, women's rights are human rights, no human is illegal, science is real, love is love, kindness is everything. P is for purple, and for the people who come together in all our colors, all our ways of being, to create community where each member can work and walk with dignity. Put them all together, it's a rainbow, a symbol of beauty in diversity, and the bright, bright promise of tomorrow. It is in that spirit we raise this flag with pride, with pride. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was our Albuquerque Poet Laureate Emeritus, Mary Owishi. So now we will be hearing from Sonia Lara, our Director of the Office of Equity and Inclusion. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here with you today, ringing in joy and freedom, right? That microphone. Glad to be here this morning. My name is Sonia Lara, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of the Office of Equity and Inclusion for the City of Albuquerque. And before I get started, I want to take a moment and just pay gratitude to our city councilors that are here present with us. We have with us Councilor Baca. I think I see that hat back there. Councilor Rogers. Right over here, Councilor Rogers. And Council Feebacorn. Thank you all for your leadership. Thank you for being here on this important day. You know, again, I'm grateful to be in community with you this morning to observe the City of Albuquerque's tradition raising the pride flag. And while this is the first and foremost reason we have intentionally and willfully gathered together this morning to celebrate, we will be remiss not to take a moment to reverence and acknowledge the 19 pueblos and 4 nations as stewards of this land since before statehood. The City of Albuquerque commits to being better stewards through relationships with indigenous communities. In addition to that injustice that was endured by our Native American brothers and sisters, There are other injustices that have been endured by other communities, such as the forced labor of 12 million enslaved Africans taken from their homelands, the Native American children separated from their families and placed in boarding schools, the 120,000 Japanese Americans who were displaced from their homes and their possessions taken from them, confined to internment camps actually here in New Mexico, and also the Stonewall riots of 1969. All of these heavy, heavy injustices. And although we've come a mighty long way, there are still miles to go before we sleep. And today, as Director of the Office of Equity and Inclusion for the City of Albuquerque, I want everyone to know and to remember that the city stands committed to our call to action, our office in ensuring the rights and welfare of all Albuquerque communities, which includes folks who identify in the LGBTQ+ community, so that they are protected, they are preserved, and that they prosper. And that's why we're here this morning, because we love our city. We love this community, and that's what love does, right? Love is kind, love endures, it does not dishonor others, instead it hopes for that better and for that brighter future. And the Office of Equity and Inclusion exists to hold in remembrance these injustices while courageously and compassionately working towards their remediation. We've been fortunate to do so with so many of you here today, which we know it was hard to gather everybody back together because we were having like a family reunion, it felt like, just reminiscing and talking. But being here in presence and in arms with our fellow brothers and sisters who are in this work and know all too well the bumps and bruises of bearing this burden and its heavy weight. Yet we again find ourselves here today with joy, with smiles, with laughter, with hope, to gather and witness the raising of the pride flag. And I can't help but reflect on personally what this makes me feel. How that although on one hand we know that there are injustices that unfortunately seem never to cease. We know this to be true. However, on the other hand, grace and equal and counterbalancing measures still grows and still abounds. Pride reminds me that there remains a place and depth of grace, of joy, of resistance that can be accessed and can be relied upon in the midst of troublesome and uncertain times. That is what pride means to me, and that although hate and harm seem to increase, they cannot quench and they never will stop love, because love cannot lose. Remember that love covers, love protects, love has, and love always will win. And today as we raise the pride flag, let that serve as a reminder for us to keep loving our community, to keep loving our neighbors, even in the face of uncertain times, even in the face and the constraint of injustice. Let our love guide us towards freedom, because again, love never fails. In fact, today as the city of Albuquerque raises this pride flag and the festivities commence for this month, let them remind us that love has actually already won. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Laura. Now we will be hearing from Raymond Sierra Lopez, our 2025 Albuquerque Pride President.
Hello. Whoa. Okay, hello everybody, and thank you to the City of Albuquerque for allowing me to be here. Also, thank you to the people of the Sandia and Tiwa Pueblos for allowing us to be here on their sacred land and be celebrating our LGBTQIA Two-Spirit Plus community. Sorry. So, it's because I talk loud. I'm loud in person, so I apologize. So I want to start off with my speech. My speech is entitled Empower, Unite, Fight, Thrive. And I want this to be a reminder as we raise the pride flag today. So good morning, Albuquerque. It is an honor to stand before you as the president of Albuquerque Pride. Each one of you being here, showing up, being visible, you are a part of something bigger than yourself. You are part of a community that is powerful, resilient, and unstoppable. And in times like these, when our rights and very existence are being threatened, community is what will save us. But being a leader in this community is not easy. It is a hard and often thankless job. It means standing on the front lines, pushing forward, when it feels like the world is pushing back, and carrying the weight of a movement that is far from over. It means making sacrifices, taking risks, and sometimes feeling alone. But we are never truly alone, because when we stand together, when we empower each other, when we unite, we become a force that cannot be ignored. That is what Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera understood when they stood up at the Stonewall Uprising in 1969. These two incredible trans women of color did not have wealth, political power, or mainstream support. What they had was courage. They did not wait for permission to demand justice. They stood their ground, they fought back, and they set off a movement that would change the world. Our community has always had to fight. We fought against brutality and discrimination. We fought for care and dignity during the HIV/AIDS epidemic when the government ignored us and left us to die. We fought for marriage equality, for workplace protections, for the right to simply exist. And now we find ourselves in yet another battle, one that threatens to erase the very freedoms that we fought so hard to win. Make no mistake, our rights are under attack across this country. Politicians are working to strip away our protections. They are banning healthcare for trans youth. They are criminalizing our identities. They are censoring our history. They are trying to push us back into the shadows. And if we do not act now, if we do not stand our ground, it is only a matter of time before we are left without any rights at all. But history has taught us one thing. We are strongest when we stand together. We must return to our roots. We must embrace the power of grassroots activism, of direct action, of taking our future into our own hands. We cannot wait for institutions or politicians to save us. We must save ourselves. And that starts with building community. Community is not just about gathering at Pride once a year. It's about showing up for each other every single day. It is about making sure our trans siblings have safe housing, that our youth have supportive schools, that our elders are not forgotten. It is about standing together when one of us is attacked, because an attack on any of us is an attack on all of us. It is about creating spaces where we can be seen, be heard, and be loved, not just tolerated, but celebrated. We must empower each other to take action, to speak up, to vote, to organize. We must unite not just within our own LGBTQIA2+ community, but with every marginalized community that is fighting for justice. Because our struggles are connected, and when we come together, we are unstoppable. We must fight not just for ourselves, but for those who will come after us. For the young queer kid who has never seen someone like them in a position of power. For trans youth who is scared of what their future holds. For the next generation that deserves to grow up in a world where their rights are not up for debate. And above all, we must thrive. Because mere survival is not enough. We deserve more than to just exist. We deserve to live fully, freely, and unapologetically. Marsha and Sylvia did not wait for permission. They did not wait for safety. They stood up and they fought, and now it is our turn. So I ask you, how will you empower? How will you unite? How will you fight? And how will you help our community thrive? The future of our community is in our hands, and I know that together we will overcome and we will rise. I would like to formally invite each and every one of you that is here today on Saturday, June 7th at 10 a.m. to our Albuquerque Pride Parade taking place at Central and Richmond in Nob Hill up to Central and San Mateo. Step off is at 10 a.m. And then we'll be celebrating our 49th annual Pride Fest here at Civic Plaza at the doorstep of City Hall, where it should be, at 2 p.m., same day, Saturday, June 7th. Thank you very much. I'm Raymond Sierra Lopez, your Pride President for Albuquerque Pride.
Thank you, Raymond. Now we will hear from Alexandra Hamilton Rivera. Thank you.
This is the first time I've talked to such a large group of people, so thank you for that shared moment of vulnerability. Now, I'm originally from Santa Fe, so I hope you all don't hold that against me. Regardless, I've lived here in Albuquerque for over a dozen years. All of them openly queer, and about half of them living my transgender truth. Albuquerque is definitely my home. So I asked myself how I ended up here speaking at a flag ceremony, because I don't have the gravitas, official capacity, or renown as some of my fellow speakers. I'm just a random woman who happens to be queer, trans, and visible. And I think that's exactly why. I don't say that to disparage myself or the community, only to show that kind of state of affairs we're in. Trans people have almost a necessity to be mindful of how visible we are. We have a lower life expectancy, especially those of us who are black or brown. Now, I've been on the front lines here in Albuquerque for years as a facilitator at the Trans Resource Center, as a first point of contact for people in suicidal crisis, and now as an apprentice curandera focused on queer healing. Every week, someone reaches out to me in need, sometimes in a state of personal crisis. And so far, no one who's reached out has chosen to actually end their life, and for that I'm thankful. As a survivor myself, I know how hard that decision is to unmake. And I'm grateful and truly honored to still be here. I owe that to the queer and trans ancestors that paved the way, especially here in Albuquerque. You know, us millennial queers, we spend so much time standing on the shoulders of giants that we almost forget to become the giants ourselves. So each morning, I greet the sun with the phrase Nawa. It's one of the languages of my ancestors. I always say, Amo san mochitlakat, oxiapa tlashluwa. It roughly means, in English, no one has fully become themselves until they've been reborn. And for queer people, we all go through transformation at least once in our lives. And every day is another chance to live our life to the fullest truth. And so here in Albuquerque, solidarity has always been our saving grace, especially in these political times of turmoil. You can't attend a protest or a mutual aid event in the city without finding many different crews of queer people. We are there all the time. We show up. We show up for each other, we show up for everyone else. We know that for all the struggle we endure here, that the queer immigrant in ICE detention struggles more. We know that our queer family in Gaza is being starved and bombed. We don't turn away from that fight, and our pride is in our fight. There's an obvious reason why we are so visible here, living in Albuquerque. And if you ever find yourself wondering who's on the right side of history, just look around and ask yourself, which side are the queers on?
Thank you so much, Alexandra. And let's have a round of applause for all of our speakers today. Thank you guys so much. Additional special thanks to Dee Dee, this beautiful drag queen here, who was kind enough to provide this inflatable for us. I apologize, I couldn't remember your name earlier. I was looking right at you. So thank you very much. And now we will hear from the mayor of our great city, Mayor Tim Keller.
All right, well, good morning, Albuquerque. Good morning, Pride. This is a wonderful occasion for our city, something that I'm so grateful to celebrate every year on Civic Plaza by the raising of this flag. And I want to begin, I think, just with a couple of things. Do just want to thank, there's so many organizations that help put this together or who also fight for LGBTQ+ rights each and every day in our city. Some of them, like EQ&M, want to give them a round of applause. I know Common Cause is here, a round of applause for them. And, you know, on more of the lighter side, but fun front, everyone who's part of the social club. Love that place, great stage. And look, the Sidewinders crew, we bumped into each other here and there over the years. Of course, too, Pete Garcia's here, 2015 Pride King or Mayor, I'm not sure, but he's got the sash. So we gather for obviously the reasons that we spoke of, that the folks who came before me spoke of, and I think it's so important. I just want to thank Raymond for your leadership. We really, really appreciate that. I don't know where Raymond went, but where'd they go? They're in the back. Round of applause for leading Pride this year. And Alexandra, thank you for sharing your story. And we know that this week is wrapped up in so much in our country and in our city. And I also just want to begin with acknowledging that it's been 56 years since Stonewall, which was the turning point for the fight for LGBTQIA2S+ rights. And we remember that, and we've touched on it earlier, but I also appreciate Mary's tale of two cities. We think about, one, how far we've come, how different Albuquerque is than those places, but also in some ways how not different. And yet, especially nationally, how far we still have to go. That is the context of Pride this year in Albuquerque. But we also know it's a celebration of identity and resilience in the ongoing fight for equality. Now, we know that fight is under attack nationally, whether it's the executive orders banning trans from sports, whether it's the unbelievable ban on trans people serving in the military, or it's gender-affirming care under attack, or it's, of course, the 700 anti-LGBTQ+ bills that have been introduced all across our country. These are tough times. Even today, there are states that have banned pride flags from schools and from public buildings. So this flag also goes up in defiance of all those other 700 initiatives in those other states around the country. Because we know that here in Albuquerque, we reject hate and bigotry, and we stand for love. That is clear in our city. And we also know that we try and walk the walk. It can be hard, we know that. But when I say that, I want to acknowledge some examples of that every day in City Hall. Number one is, how many of y'all work for the city of Albuquerque? That's right. Thank you all for standing up for Pride here with us on Civic Plaza. We also know that we have ambassadors to the LGBTQ+ community in our police department and actually throughout almost every department in the city. Some of them are here, so I want to thank the folks who literally work in law enforcement and work to support everyone in the LGBT community. They're here. Give them a round of applause. Thank you for being here. I also know that when I came into office, we had a B- rating when it came to equality. Now we have an A+, 100% score. And in defiance of what was happening, even on the campaign trail federally last year, our city and our city councilors helped with this. We actually updated our human rights ordinance to protect gender identity, to protect sexual orientation and pregnancy and childbirth and a host of other issues in our human rights ordinance. And so now it is modern, it is effective, and it is representative. Thank you, councilors, for working with us to push that. And so I think most importantly to everyone in our city this week and hopefully every day, our city sees you, we recognize you, we celebrate with you, and we stand with you. And so we're going to raise this flag together to keep breaking barriers and fighting injustice. Now also, as we heard earlier from Raymond, for the first time in history, we are excited to welcome the Pride Festival right here on Civic Plaza. So come enjoy that, and that's where it should be, and we want to keep it there going forward. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to hand it back over to our MCs, and we'll get up to, I think, some more celebration and our flag raising. Thank you so much.
One more round of applause for our mayor. Now we'll be having a performance from Mariachi Grand Victoria. After that, we will be listening to another song from them while we cross the street to raise the flag and assist Mayor. Thank you so much. Ladies? Thank you so much, ladies. So if everyone who's interested in helping us raise the flag could go ahead and head across the street, we will listen to our second song and be able to assist the mayor in raising the flag. Thank you so much. So everyone, please make your way across the street.